Hello students, last time we have talked about the method of preparation of soap and some important properties of soap. Now we will be talking about the uses of soap that includes the cleansing action of this soap. As we have read last time that the formula of this soap molecule is RCOONA, where this R group indicates the long chain of hydrocarbon groups. And since this hydrocarbon group will be containing the non-polar carbon-carbon covalent bond, so since it contains non-polar covalent bond, so this group can be termed as non-polar group of this soap molecule. And since as we have read that non-polar things has the tendency to repel water, they are not affectionate towards water, so this non-polar hydrocarbon chain will also repel water, and that is why this group can also be termed as hydrophobic group. While if I talk about this carboxylate ion, then this carboxylate ion, after losing the H plus hydronium ion, it will be having 1 minus charge on it. To neutralize this, we are using the sodium cation here with the charge 1 plus. So here the group is carboxylate with a charge 1 minus and sodium with a charge 1 plus. So this group will be containing, since this group has charge on it, so this group can be termed as the polar group of this soap molecule. And since it is polar in nature, so it will be attracting towards the polar solvent water, and this group can be termed as the water loving group, or the term what I can use for this group is hydrophilic group. We can also represent this hydrophilic group by making a small circle with a charge of negative. This small circle will indicate this carboxylate anion here, which since this carboxylate anion is present with sodium cation, so sodium cation will be represented by this symbol. Now the another thing that is attached with this carboxylate anion is this hydrocarbon group that I have represented by the symbol R. Since this hydrocarbon group contains a large number of carbon atoms, so to represent these carbon atoms, I will be using the bond line notation of this hydrocarbon chain here, and this non-polar hydrocarbon chain can be indicated by this symbol. Here, this part that I have indicated in the form of chain represents the non-polar hydrocarbon chain. And this non-polar hydrocarbon chain can also be termed as the tail part of this soap molecule. While if I talk about this circle with a sodium cation, so since it is having charge on it, so this group can be termed as the polar part of soap molecule, that can also be represented as the head part of this soap molecule. Now, as we have read that this soap molecule has one hydrocarbon long chain, so when we add this soap molecule in water to clean the clothes, then first of all this hydrocarbon chain, it tries to be apart from water. So if I take the water in this container like this, so when we add the soap molecule to this, first of all this hydrocarbon chain will try to apart from this, and they will be capture the surface of this water. Since if these soap molecules are added in this form, so here this hydrophilic polar part will be towards water and this hydrophobic tail part will be apart from this water. But when we add a minimum when we add the minimum concentration of soap or detergent to this water, then these soap molecule, when they capture all the surface of this water, then they has to come inside the water. Now as these soap molecule enters inside this water, inside this container to the water molecule, then again these hydrophobic parts, they will try to be apart from this water. Then since these are hydrophobic in nature, and whenever we get afraid from something, so we try to be in group. So the same thing is followed by these soap molecule. When these are added to the water in container, so these soap molecule, they make a cluster or group of these soap molecules like this. In this cluster, the hydrophobic tail part, since it has the phobia to water, so it will try to be apart from water, and it will be in the form of group, and this tail part will be pointed towards the center of this group or circle, and this will be represented by this. This is for the hydrophobic tail part, and this this circle is going to represent the hydrophilic head part. So that will be the cluster made by these soap molecule. Since as we can see that by making the cluster, the weight of this soap molecule or this cluster will increase and it may suspend at the bottom since its weight has been increased, but it remains in the suspended condition and doesn't settle down at the bottom. Since there is the presence of same charge polar group, these polar groups are having negative charge on them, and there will be a repulsion force between them. Due to the repulsion force that works between these polar groups, that will not let this soap cluster settle down and it will be in the suspended condition. Now if I talk about the center part of this cluster, that can also be termed as micelle. This cluster will be termed as micelle here. So if I talk about the cavity of this micelle, then since this cavity is surrounded by non-polar hydrocarbon chains, so this cavity will be attracting all the oil and grease particles that are present at the surface of cloth. Since if I talk about the composition of this oil and grease particle, so these oil and grease particle also contains the long chain of carbon atoms, and that is why this group is also non-polar in nature. So being non-polar, it will be attracting towards the non-polar hydrophobic chain of this soap molecule, and since this cavity is surrounded by non-polar hydrophobic chain part, so here this oil and grease particle will be captured in the cavity of this micelle. So whenever we apply this water to the dirt or the clothes, then this micelle, it captures the oil and grease particle at the center, and then these are further washed with the heavy flow of water, and as these are washed away with water, so the dirt that is present at the center of this, that is further washed away with the water. So that is about the cleansing action of this soap, but this is not possible in each and every condition. So now we will be talking about the limitation of this working with soap. Now we will be talking about the limitations of soap, and the very first limitation is this soap cannot show its cleansing action in the presence of hard water. So in hard water, if we apply the soap molecule, it will not able to remove dirt and grease particles so effectively as it can do in soft water. Because if I talk about the composition of this hard water, then this hard water is due to the presence of the salt of calcium and magnesium. If these calcium and magnesium ions combine with chlorides, sulfates or bicarbonates, then in the presence of these compounds, this water will be termed as hard water. If I apply this soap molecule to the hard water, then the formula of this soap molecule is RCOONA when it reacts with the calcium or magnesium ions that are present in hard water. Then here these calcium ions, they displaces the sodium cation from the soap molecule, and finally it forms the calcium salt of long chain carboxylate ion that will be represented as RCOO whole twice with calcium cation, and here sodium ions will be separated out. Now if I talk about this sodium salt of long chain carboxylic acid, it was soluble in water and it was able to form micelle. On the other hand, this calcium salt of long chain carboxylic acid is not soluble in water. It is an insoluble substance and it precipitated out in the form of a white precipitate. This precipitate deposits on the surface of clothes, and besides of removing dirt from clothes, it further works like a dirt, and this dirt or this white precipitate that is deposited on the surface of cloth is termed as scum. So due to the formation of scum, now micelle formation will not occur, and a lots of soap and the detergent will be waste to form this kind of scum. So the same thing will happen in the presence of magnesium cation also. If I take magnesium cation and apply soap molecule in the presence of this magnesium cation, now finally it will be forming the salt of this magnesium, and sodium ion will be in the form of ions in water. So now this magnesium ion, this salt of magnesium, it's again insoluble in water and it will precipitate out in the form of scum. Then due to the formation of scum, now the soap molecule is not able to remove dirt from the clothes, and that is the limitation of this soap, that it cannot work effectively in hard water. The another limitation of this soap molecule is if we apply this soap molecule in acidic medium. Then in acidic medium also this soap cannot work effectively. If I apply the soap molecule in acidic medium, so in the acidic medium there will be the presence of proton or hydronium ion. These hydronium ion will also replace sodium cation, and finally they will be forming the carboxylic acid RCOOH, and sodium will be in the form of ion in water. Now this sodium salt of long chain carboxylic acid was able to form micelle, while this long chain carboxylic acid is not able to form micelle. And as we have read that micelle formation is an essential condition to remove dirt or oil from the clothes. So since micelle formation will not occur here, so again in acidic medium this soap cannot show its cleansing action, and that is counted as the limitation of this soap. Now to remove these two limitations, now we will be studying the second category of these detergents that we have taken in initially, and this second category can be termed as the synthetic detergents. As we have read initially that these synthetic detergents can also be termed as soapless soap or non-soapy detergents. So the another name of these synthetic detergents is soapless soap or non-soapy detergents. What's the difference between soapy detergents and non-soapy detergents? The difference is in their working, and this difference arises due to the presence of different functional group in them. The functional group that is present here is generally sulfonic acid, and these synthetic detergents, they are defined as the sodium salt of long chain benzene sulfonic acid. Since there is a presence of long chain of hydrocarbons, so this can be represented by the symbol R. It is connected with the benzene group. So this benzene group can be represented by this hexagonal ring with a circle inside. And here the functional group is sulfonic acid. The sulfonic acid can be represented by the formula SO3H. Since it's not the sulfonic acid, it's the sodium salt of sulfonic acid that is termed as synthetic detergent. So here this H group will be replaced by the sodium cation, and now this molecule will be termed as R with the benzene ring C6H4. It will be here since two valencies are free here, and with the group SO3Na. So this can be the general representation for these synthetic detergents. Here if I take the R group as 12 carbon containing hydrocarbon group with the formula C12H25. So in this condition, since this C12H25 can be termed as dodecane, C12H26 is termed as dodecane. So when this group will be containing C12H25, the name of this compound will be sodium, since it's the sodium salt. Since at the para position of this benzene ring, dodec group is there, so it will be sodium para dodecyl with the benzene ring, and the group is sulfonic acid. So that is about the representation of these synthetic detergents. The another definition or the another functional group that is contained by these synthetic detergents is, sometimes these synthetic detergents, they can also contain the hydrogen sulfate functional group. So the another definition what we can give for these synthetic detergents is, these are also termed as the sodium salt of long chain alkyl hydrogen sulfate. Here this long chain of carbon atom can be represented by the group R, and since it's the hydrogen sulfate group, so that can be represented by the symbol HSO4. Now here it is the sodium salt, so here the hydronium ion will be replaced by the sodium cation, and it will be represented as RSO4 Na with a charge of 1 minus on sulfate group and 1 plus on this sodium cation. So that is the another definition of these synthetic detergents. Now, as I have said initially, that the limitation of the soap molecule, that it was not able to show its cleansing action in hard water and in acidic medium, is not with this detergent. These can effectively show its cleansing action in hard water as well as in acidic medium, and the working of these detergents is same as we have read in soap molecule. When we add these detergents in water, so these are again having one hydrocarbon chain that is non-polar in nature, and one sulfate ion and sodium cation. This one represents the polar group of this synthetic detergents. So when we add this in water, they again form micelle, and at the center of this micelle, the oil and the grease particle, it is captured. So the working is same. It is due to the formation of micelle, and one thing is different, that is the method of preparation. So now we will be dealing with the method of preparation of these detergents. Apart from soapless soap, these synthetic detergents, apart from soapy soap or soapy detergents, these soapless detergents are prepared by reacting petroleum products with concentrated sulfuric acid. So if I use any of these petroleum products that we can get after mining of these petroleum from earth crust, when these are made to react with concentrated sulfuric acid, so by the reaction a synthetic detergent is formed, and that is the method of preparation for these synthetic detergents. Now if I compare these soaps with synthetic detergents, so there is some differences with some similarities between these, and now we will be studying the comparison of these two. The very first property of these soaps is about their definition. These soaps are the sodium salts of long chain carboxylic acid with the formula RCOONA. Well, these soapless soap, they contain the functional group sulfonic acid, and these are termed as the long chain benzene sulfonic acid compounds that can generally be represented by the symbol R with a benzene ring, and the functional group can be represented by the symbol SO3Na. So the definition for these will be, these are sodium salts while on the other hand these can be termed as sodium alkyl benzene sulfonates. The another difference is in the method of preparation, and the method for the preparation of these soap molecule, as we have read that these soaps are prepared by reacting natural oil or fat with sodium hydroxide, while these non-soapy soap are prepared by reacting petroleum products with concentrated sulfuric acid. So that is the another method. These are prepared by taking oil and fat with sodium hydroxide, while the method of preparation for these is, just now we have read that these are formed by reacting petroleum products with concentrated sulfuric acid. The another thing is, if I talk about the working of these two, so the working is same since they both works after forming micelle, and the micelle formation is the basic step for the cleansing action of these soaps and soapless soaps. So the third difference, if I talk about, so the difference is in their limitation. These soaps cannot work effectively in hard water, while on the other hand these soapless soaps or synthetic detergents can work effectively. The next definition or the next difference is again about the limitation. These soaps again cannot work in acidic medium, while these synthetic detergents can work effectively in acidic medium also. Now if I talk about the last difference between these two, so this difference shows the advantage of these soaps on synthetic detergents. That if I talk about the nature of these soaps, so then these soaps are biodegradable substance, and since these are biodegradable, so they are eco-friendly, they can be considered as eco-friendly, they are not as harmful as synthetic detergents are. While on the other hand, these synthetic detergents, they are not biodegradable, and since these are not biodegradable, so they will cause a lots of pollution. While on the other hand, these are biodegradable substances. So that is about the differences between soaps and detergents.